Let's go to JJ's. Let's go. Let's go to JJ's. Let's go.
You guys gotta get that kid on there.
I don't know if that's loud enough, but we're recording anyway. Fuck it.
It's good to
Oh
me.
God, if I see you guys walking around like this now.
All right, so listen.
Let's go, JJ's. Let's go.
There we go. That was loud enough.
Wow, you got a real microphone too? Man, you guys are getting official up in here.
We're joined by our boy Logan Bowles. I like to call him PJ Logan. Flying on Con Air over here.
Oh boy.
But we're gonna go ahead and tease the fun part, the thing that everybody wants to listen to, hearing how Logan's week went, right? We can't start off with that. That'd be bad podcasting, right? So what we are gonna start off with is, how about the first ever annual Solly Mock? Can we give it up? Come on. Did I fucking nail it or what? Come on.
Fucking Solly Kuiper over here.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right off the bat, we got believe it or not, he guessed the first pick, right? Gardner Minshew. I mean,
First pick.
Trevor Lawrence. Excuse me, Trevor Lawrence. And then he followed it up strong with Travis Etienne. I was impressed. As soon as they took him, I was like, this motherfucker.
And then the reports out later. Urban was heartbroken to miss out on
Kadarius Toney.
Tony. Had the targets down, baby. Those insider sources. You don't know nothing about that, Dillard.
No, I was gonna say we should read some text messages.
Shout out! Hey, by the way, shout out to the lady Cass. Congratulations on Kadarius Toney. I know she was very excited about that. And thank you to your Giants for taking him.
Yeah. Shout out to the Giants.
So that Urban couldn't. So big ups. Thank you.
He's probably going to be good now that we've all taken that stance. You know what I mean?
Hey,
No chance.
him and Balky, they were talking to him a lot at the pro day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you texted
and being like, they're talking to him. They keep talking to him.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought when you were texting that though, they were like, "Hey, are you going to actually run any routes today at the pro day?" I thought that's what they're.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, what do you know about Kyle Pitts? Would you trade a bunch of draft picks to move up for him?"
my man Herbs is over there straight up like, "Hey, you ever heard of Tim Tebow?
Think he can play tight end?
Tight end one."
What happened today? Is that actually happening? Was that real?
Yeah, so yesterday, all right, so when did it start? I don't know. One of these, it started on Thursday last week, so that's probably why you missed it. It's funny, someone earlier in the day tweeted at me, hey, I heard from someone that Tebow is working out, da-da-da-da-da. And I had, finally just said, all right, since it's out here, this is what I knew, da-da-da-da-da. And sure enough, 2 hours later, Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport are like, oh, the Jaguars worked out Tim Tebow. They don't have a plan for him yet, but, teams are talking. They're interested on both sides. And then our pal Tony Khan came out yesterday on Bleacher Report and pretty much with the worst poker face on earth, he pretty much said, hey, no, we don't know anything except for he's been practicing with us, was a direct quote. And some other thing that really made my head just bro, you're just telling us it's evident. Oh, that it was all Urban's decision.
Oh,
and once,
so what he's gonna add to our offense and shit like that.
Yeah,
I thought that's okay. So that's the video. Yeah, I saw that video, and I didn't know if that was new, old, or what was going on.
Yeah, that was brand new as of yesterday morning.
Shout out to Logan.
First thing when I first started hearing this, all I could think about that's a throwback, new era. I remember if he was released, even if he was released stuff back when I worked at Void, I just remember seeing all that and posting it. It just brought back memories.
Well, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying I tweeted it's the ultimate middle fingers from Tim Tebow to Dave Caldwell. Literally Dave Caldwell drops even if he's released in 2013 or whatever, and back then we were all woo, yeah, you go Dave Caldwell. But then in the immediate offseason that Dave Caldwell's been fired, Tim Tebow's back in the news, back tracking to the Jaguars. And I think it would just be hilarious at this point because of our situation with the head coach and with the quarterback, like, why not? Like, the tight end room is the worst room on our football team at a positional talent wise. So if we were going to get weird somewhere, like, why not do it there? Like, why do I care about a tight end 3 or tight end 4 on the team?
Yeah, like I've hit a point too where I just want to win. Like I don't care who's
man.
on the team. Like as a photographer and like how I make money off the NFL, it's like him coming here, that definitely is going to put more money in my pocket because it's going to be a big story. So I look at that stuff now. Because like in that aspect, I have to like turn my fan off.
No, you don't.
I mean, I do.
I mean, I'll just make a
people.
t-shirt. I'll just make a t-shirt too. I mean, let's go.
Yeah.
Debo. Let's go, JJs. Let's go. No. All right. So we're getting right into, ladies and gentlemen, I promise we didn't mean to start the podcast off after we just drafted Trevor Lawrence by talking about Tebow. But since we're doing it, we might as well. And I teased this earlier today because it's funny. I feel like 60% of the timeline within Jaguars Twitter kind of aligns with what Dilla just said. Like, who cares? Whatever. It's kind of funny. I maybe didn't want this to happen, however, 10 years ago or whatever, but now, whatever. And the other half of the other like 30, 40%, people are really like pissed off. Like, shout out to the homie Dalt.
Gosh.
Dalt, like every time he sees a tweet about it from somebody who's kind of like, yeah, why not? He like immediately has to, and I think it's a lot of FSU Twitter, which makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. Like they have a lot of like PTSD from Tebow just running shit against them for several years.
Those are the Gator glory days right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, one set of them for sure. And so I get that, I guess, but I guess I have kind of a different perspective of it, and I was just going to sort of break this down. When Tebow was at UF, I was, hardcore, big-time Gator fan, was rooting for him. But I come at it from the perspective of, even when I've been a Gator fan most of my life, I'm a Jaguar fan above any other fandom, right? And so when the whole, even if he's released thing, it's funny that you mentioned that, right? I mean, that was us, right? That was BCB. That was Pat made the site. Like, that was one of the first big things that we did as a group that went like really mainstream, really viral. And I remember back then we had a lot of people like high five, boom. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys for speaking for us, for like diehard Jag fans, so on and so forth. But we also had a lot of hardcore Gator fans pissed at us, right? And like, how dare you guys, hardcore Tebow fans, how dare, you guys suck, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. And what is interesting about all of that, fast forward to right now, is none of this really has to do with how I feel about Tebow as a dude, right? Like, how I felt then didn't have anything to do with like me wanting to hate the guy. I just didn't want the circus that was going to come with him. And I didn't think he was like going to be a great NFL quarterback. And I think, those of us that thought that have been pretty justified, right? It is what it is. Proof is in the pudding. With that said, like, with all of that said, I am totally cool with him coming in to play fullback, tight end, team chaplain. I don't care. Like, at this point, I mean, back then, had he said, yes, I will switch to tight end and come in, I probably still would have been like, all right, cool, whatever. I think there would have been a part of me though back then though that would have said, I don't want those assholes who got so mad at us, who swear that he's like Jesus Christ reincarnated. I don't want those people to win, right? Like, I don't want those people to get what they want, right? The Tebow, why not people? Tebow now, why not, right? Like, I didn't want those 18 people that had their rally at the stadium. I didn't want them and the John Morgan. Remember John Morgan put up the freaking billboard and said he'd buy a suite and all this shit. I didn't want those people to win. It didn't even so much have to do with Tebow.
I didn't want John Morgan in the stadium.
Right. I didn't want John Morgan in the stadium. I didn't want him to win. I didn't want any of that. Like, personally, selfishly, me.
Yeah.
With all of that said now, it's not like those people are winning if he comes and plays on the team now. So I think that's why I am so just,
I
whatever.
think it would actually be poetic as fuck if he came on the team as a fullback. Like almost like
Or a tight end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that's genuinely why nobody cares. He's not playing quarterback.
Well, hold on. I think it's a step further than that. You're 100% right. But then to take it one step further, he's not playing quarterback, but we also have what we think is a like legit franchise quarterback prospect that is ours, right? Like we just, I'm with you. We just
and
got
I mean,
that
it's funny because someone asked me today, like, does the Trevor Lawrence story get covered up by Tim Tebow? And I'm like, not at all. I think if anything, having Trevor Lawrence makes the Tim Tebow thing not as much of a story. So it's in totality towards football, it's a story because he's joining the Jaguars in Florida and he played at Florida. But in terms of football, everyone knows what we're getting. I mean, he's a whole roster guy, tight end 3-4. Who cares?
It'll be a story until
you're getting a story.
Exactly. As soon as he plays quarterback, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And again, though, there's just no threat level here, man. I mean, I'm all about like now it really is a cool story. Before I felt like it was people were trying to force it to be a story, to be a thing. Now, if he legitimately earns his way onto an NFL roster, albeit maybe the worst tight end room in the league, but if he legitimately ends up on a roster and contributes in any way at his age for his hometown team after he's already, exited the NFL many years ago, that's a story that I'm like, dude, I ain't like that. I'll say this, if you are against that story with everything that we just laid out, mainly Trevor Lawrence being involved, if you're against that story potentially happening, you might be a hater.
Or a Florida State fan.
Well, then you're a hater in that case.
Yeah, but I like kind of understand that too. I mean, I easily separate Saturday and Sunday, but some people can't because they're weird, like Dalton. You know how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I was the same way as Cap. I remember during that time, I grew up a Gator, like 96 national championship. I remember watching it in a little television in the living room. Like I grew up watching the Gators. But I remember that year, and I remember people kept saying, "Oh, we're going to LA," and like all this stuff. And I was like, "No," I was like, "I don't want him here. Like, you're not going to put that on us. Like, I don't care. Once they leave college, I don't care. They can play Miami, they play Ohio State. Like, when they put the jersey on that says Jacksonville Jaguars, like, I don't care.
Preach.
Like, it's like completely different now." And I remember being like people like messaging me and like people I worked with that were Gators, and they're like, "Why don't you want the Gator?" I'm like, I want the best player to play on the team. Like, I don't care.
Right.
And I remember being so angry at hearing he's going to fill the stadium. And then when we played him, when he was on Denver, I just remember standing on my seat, just screaming when I think Tyson like sacked him or tackled him or something happened. And I just remember just on my seat, there's a picture of me, MJD jersey, just going off. I was so excited.
And there's a part of you that's like, hey, overall he's a good dude, right? Like he's a solid.
Like it's nothing personal.
But it's the fanatics that I think made so many of us more neutral feeling people. Yeah. Like be against what he symbolized and what like the type of people he brought with him. And now I'm like, you know what, dude? Like we've all moved so far past that. And I think we're all comfortable in where the franchise is and where we are as a fan base and all of that, to where it's like, you know what, even if it is a little bit of a sideshow, even if it is a publicity thing or whatever the hell you want to call it, I'm at the point now where like, we got Trevor Lawrence, dude. Trevor Lawrence, we got a real coach, and who knows how he'll pan out, but at least it's, he's a notable, successful football guy that we have in place now. It's not like it would be bringing Tebow in and having Mike Mularkey coach him. You know what I mean? Like I feel so completely different about all of it that it's like, I kind of laugh when people are getting so bent out of shape about it at this point, because it's like,
I feel like a defensive coordinator now has to be like, does he actually know what he's doing? Like if he actually lines up out there, they're like, okay, maybe do we actually worry about him? Like, does it give another depth in offense that
I gotta
this
tell
guy's
you,
out there at the 5-yard line? Are you gonna shuffle or like pass it to him over here? Is he gonna run like hand it off? Like, what are you gonna do?
yeah. I mean, from a gadget perspective, I think. Listen, if he makes the team and like legitimately makes the team, I don't care how bad that room is. At 33 years old, if he legitimately comes out and competes in training camp and all that shit, and he makes the team, that's an incredible story.
Yeah.
From there, if he's active on any game days, that's an incredible story. If he contributes at all during the season, that's an incredible story. And I'm cool with it. Whatever. I'm going to be, you know what? I might get a Tim Tebow jersey. Who knows? Maybe
Oh yeah, you might.
Hey,
Don't
don't,
record it, man. You're on it now.
don't
No,
worry.
I just said no. You might. I know people who have already locked one in.
Don't worry, Bubba. I got your, I got your Minshew that you've turned into Lawrence jersey that you could then turn.
Oh shit! I left that in your backyard.
Yeah, it's at my house. It's at my house. That
Jersey
along
I
with
bought,
Weird.
they've left. Every jersey, like the next year, they're gone. I remember I bought an authentic Daryl Smith, and I think he got injured, and then he was gone. Like I was so angry.
Hey! I'll tell you right now, Logan. Lock it in. Buy a Lawrence jersey.
Like I bought a Mark's jersey, gone. Boye gone. Yannick gone. 2.0 gone. Like I even have a Gabbert jersey. I don't know. It was the stupidest thing I ever did. It was a black jersey. I wanted a black jersey. I remember that was the first black jersey that came back.
yeah,
with
you've had some really questionable jersey decisions.
Actually,
Even-
Logan, please don't buy a Trevor Lawrence jersey.
I have a Cyprian jersey too.
Yeah. Well, some things are not our fault.
Dillard and I have already committed to matching Tebow jerseys, so Cap, you're welcome into the club.
I'm in. Why not? I've already said I can't get a Lawrence jersey. I can't buy anybody's jersey that I'm biologically old enough to be their parent. Like it's just that's where I feel like I have to draw the line. So Tebow's only like 4 or 5 years younger than me. Money, let's go. I'm in.
Yeah, like I don't feel old, but when I see that Trevor Lawrence is 21 years old, and it's like, whoa, like what happened? Where did it go?
Yeah. No. I mean, I like the Jaguars hit me up, and I got to talk to like Trevor Lawrence and ETN, and I was like giddy as hell to talk to a 21-year-old kid. Like that's some, like it's the mind blowing emoji. Like when you think about it that way, but it's sports, I guess.
It's crazy to see like how Trevor handles himself when he's talking to people like in person and being like, this dude's like 21. Like when I was 21, I was at the Ritz, like just every Thursday, mellow Ritz. Like I don't know how these guys do it.
You and Blake Bortles. I don't know. We'll hold that thought. We're going to get into more of what he did. But before we do, all right, so we got Tebow out of the way. That will probably be, unless he definitely makes the team and starts contributing something, that'll probably be one of the last times we mention that whole thing on here. But
he's scoring a touchdown by week 4.
oh my God, he scores a touchdown. We all take our shirts off and just run on the field. I'm just saying. I don't condone that normally, but I feel like that's just something you got to do.
He's going to end up making a block that James Robinson's going to take 190 or 80 yards, and the people.
James Robinson taking something 90 yards. I got a better chance to take something 90 yards than James Robinson.
Oh, Dilla40. Hashtag Dilla40. Hashtag Dilla40.
I actually watched that 40 tape before I came on here because I was looking at the YouTube channel and I was like, you were moving.
Yo, he can move.
That's what they all said.
I
So
mean,
at Combine every year they have it's set up. So like when the day is over, like everybody comes down, like producers, like on NFL Network people, and they're like running it. And some people shouldn't be running it. Like I saw a dude just eat it.
shout out to Mike K.
Dude, Mike K ran it like he had a full diaper.
Some dude tore his ACL. I'm pretty sure we were there.
Running a 40.
You
Yeah.
gotta be unathletic as fuck.
Some of these guys, it's like turf, and they're just eat it. And I'd never did it because I'd always be like in jeans or something. And I was like, I'm not embarrassing myself. Everybody's got their cameras out. I was like, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
Fuck
Yeah, that's a trap, bro. That's a trap. You just don't do that. Like, Dilla ran one for the cause and for the pod. And
I like 11:50 at night after I've been laying on your patio furniture for 2 hours. I was on 3 planets over. Like,
Hey, some of those big guys, like we'll be sitting there and a defensive end runs it. He's like 300 something pounds or D tackle. And I'm like, how's that guy moving so fast? I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. And then when you walk up to it, you're like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna pull a hammy. Like I'm not in soccer shape anymore. So
no, that's
those
yeah,
days are long gone.
They are built different.
for all of us but Dilla. I mean, Dilla's that sneaky athletic, you know. He's got that sneaky athleticism, and it crept out. Sally, we're gonna give away that jersey tonight too.
Oh yeah.
We'll wait to the end on that one. All right, so you have to stick. If you won, you're gonna have to stick till towards the end. We might not even put it at the end because you're not gonna fool us. You're not gonna just scroll all the way to the end of the episode and try and see if you won or not. We're gonna put it in there somewhere near the end, so you actually have to listen. Right? That's tricks of the trade. Let's talk.
We already shouted the guy out on Twitter. So.
Yeah,
we already told him.
We'll make an official announcement for those that maybe aren't on Twitter or didn't catch it.
Perfect.
All right. So let's talk draft. Something happened last week.
Yeah.
What do you guys like? Were you guys? Let's start here. How surprised were you with pick 1 in the first round?
All right, so first off, I want to say I'm glad we were all able to get together. If it had been the year before where we got to like enjoy that experience on Zoom, like it would have been cool, but like I don't think it would have been as cool as like actually getting to hang out and like, you know, knuckle each other up and like yell Zach Wilson like the whole time, like we're on the clock. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
I thought that was like dope. Shout out to like everyone doing what they're supposed to and like getting shot so we can all hang out. But that shit was cool, man. And like at number 1, no one was surprised. That was the best part. Even the Jaguars wouldn't ruin that pick.
Oh my!
Did you have like a little bit of twinge in your booty cheeks though, just right before, where you like, ooh?
Nah, dude. The moment that I like tweeted out that the Jaguars pre-ordered the Trevor Lawrence like nameplate jerseys months ago, that was the day I was like, that's it.
Yeah,
it's done.
Just little things kept happening or kept coming out that just anytime you wanted to maybe think in your head, there's a possibility.
Yeah.
Like I heard like right before the draft, even I heard like just lots of little different things. But one of the things was that like Trevor and Marissa had been shopping for houses here like 3 weeks ago. I know a couple people that they like made, or like one person that they made a cash offer to on like a house, and you know nothing was final yet, and the house wasn't even for sale. Like that kind of level of steez that they were operating with. Like,
I mean, when like the toaster stuff was going on and I was talking to his agents, there were 2 realtors in the area who had hit me up and they're like, hey, like if you happen to be talking to them, like people I know, like, you know, pass along my information. And I was like, yeah, totally cool. Like no problem. And when I did it, the dude was like, oh, we've already been looking at houses for a while. Like no biggie.
I was trying to do travel. Like I was trying to get a rental car and a hotel, and like Clemson's very small. Like there's literally college and then nowhere. Like it's
like Gainesville.
Yeah, it's like there's like lakes, tons of lakes, and just trees. And I remember I got the rental car and they're asking me all these questions, and it's like I can't tell them I'm going up there. Like I had to call the airport where he flew out of and was like, hey, I don't know the flight number. And they're like, well, what are you doing? Like I can't say anything. And I've known for, you know, as long as I've known, because if I say something, newspaper is going to be there, TV is going to be there. Like I remember I checked in the hotel and the guy's like, he's like, oh, what are you here for? Work? I'm like, I'm carrying my camera stuff, and I'm like, oh God, here we go.
All right, fuck it. We'll talk about the draft some other time. Let's talk about what we're calling it. We're calling it audible here. You've already led into it. So
I didn't mean to skip ahead.
You're good. That's what people want to hear anyway. They don't want like we've already tweeted how we feel about the fucking draft, and we can talk about that all summer if we really want.
Every pick was fucking amazing. They're all A+, and we're gonna win a Super Bowl within 5 years.
Wait, you guys don't want to talk about Walker Little? Come on, let's do Walker Little
I'm
first.
good with Walker Little and Andre Cisco. You both know that.
Runner big.
I fucking stand. You know that. All
I
right.
saw a clip of that Walker Little guy, and I was like, "That's a big boy."
He's a yoked motherfucker.
Dude, he's like,
Hey, I had never seen what he looked like until.
That was sick audio there, Dylan.
yeah, you just totally went out. But I'm gonna translate. Dill had never seen what he looked like until we picked him, and then he thought it was a great pick, and then he looks like a young, early stage of his career, Boney Taselli. That's what Dilla just said.
Are you guys ever going to talk about, or maybe you've already talked about it? Who decided on that emoji? Like, was that just like whatever, or was that like a thought out process?
The official emoji of the Bold Take podcast, is that the emoji you're talking about?
Dillard could tell that story.
Yeah, that started in a DM with. I'm in the DM with like 4 or 5 friends that were just like soccer pals, and one like we had a discussion one day, like which emoji was the cum emoji. Would it be the emoji that I chose, or the one that people use as the cringe face, like with the big oval teeth, the white teeth showing, like, cheesing? And I was like, dude, honestly, like, which one looks like someone's coming? Like, obviously, it's the one that everybody knows now. And there was someone in our group who was like completely adamant, like, no way, that's not it. Like, this is the stupidest thing I ever heard. And I was like, all right, watch this. Give me a week, and I'll have everyone using this. And he was like, all right. And then that's where it started. But it's so funny, like as an an emoji of excitement. You can use it for everything.
So that's where it came from. Dill is just a trendsetter, man. He's an influencer, social media influencer.
He could change that. He could change the meaning of that emoji by next week if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Good.
Power of the influencer. And by the way, if you want him to peddle anything on the podcast, get with our business director, Steven Soliday.
We'll do it.
Yeah. Shout out to our new podcast, or shout out to all of our new sponsors here on the Bold Take Pod. We love you. We appreciate you.
We actually need to have Dillard start reading the ads.
That's what people are paying for.
That's money moves. Yeah. I don't know what we're thinking.
Yeah. I like it.
Heaven.
I like it. All right. So, Logue, let's start walking through it. When do you get the call that you are going to be the one documenting Trevor Lawrence?
So actually, this is a long time in the making, because we had an idea to do this type of stuff with a different quarterback in the past, and the team they were just not about it. So I remember, was it the Chicago game when we got the first pick? It was after the Chicago game, and then the Jets won. Mm-hmm. I was literally sitting in like where the Daly's place was, watching it on the television, I guess, when Cleveland lost. And I just texted Ben, and I was like, you think we could do this? Because it's probably going to be Trevor. And he just was like, maybe we can try it out. So then fast forward to, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, Ben reached out, Ben Liebenberg is director of photography for the NFL. He reached out to the Jags PR, Amy Palick, sorry, Amy, if I messed up your last name, but her and Alex Brooks at the PR department, and kind of pitched the idea, and they were all about it. Amy is brand new, and she used to work at the Texans. She's awesome. She's going to change this whole entire franchise. It's going to be unreal. And then Alex Brooks is just great. And we built a really good relationship with them in the past. We've done portraits, and, I've been at game shooting, training camp, stuff like that. We've always shared my images with them through the league if they needed something. So we've really built a good relationship with them. And that's kind of like photography. You got to build these relationships because they need to trust you. So they kind of got the ball rolling. And then fast forward to a week or so ago, we finally got like the go ahead, which was cool because we all knew it was going to happen, but we finally were like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Let's work on, am I going to be able to fly up there? Am I just going to be here? And it was a lot of like Ben and them went back and forth, and finally they secured it down. All
right, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
You say we got the word that we were going to do this. The word being that they were drafting Trevor and that they were going to allow you some sort of access?
I personally have no idea when they picked the Trevor. They could have done it that day of the draft. Yeah, we got the clearance to be able to photograph him or at least go there in case they do take him. So we planned, because no matter what, I was trying to be where Trevor was, because we know he's going to go first. If they trade out, somebody trades in, like I still have to be there to cover him. So the Jags definitely helped with that. The people at Clemson helped with that. And so I left because we were sharing images for the league. The Jaguars would get them so-and-so. And there was no other photographer there. I was the only person there. So our image would go out to Getty, AP, USA Today, stuff like that too as well. So I was the only photographer allowed in, and there was an ESPN crew who was feeding video back to, every outlet. So yeah, I booked rental, drove up because Clemson is it's somewhere in the middle between, I guess, Greenville and Atlanta. So it's like either way, if you fly, you're still driving 45 to an hour. So I just decided to drive up. They allowed me to go on the plane if they chose Trevor Lawrence. So that was in my head. I was like, okay, cool. I'll do a car up, dump the car, meet him at the airport, get on the plane and fly back to Jax. The plan was if they do take him, I would just follow him the rest of the day. Airport, plane, airport, back to Jacksonville, cover him. He does the Duval on the phone. He has a press conference like any player would. So I just kind of tagged along.
Like I was like shadowed.
Shadowed, fly on the wall kind of thing, and just documented him coming back and being the number one pick. And that's big for us because we've never had that access. Like I see other teams will do that if they know they're going to pick somebody, or they'll fly with the plane up and get whoever they picked. But this was like, I was there the moment Urban called. Even before that, I got there probably 30-40 minutes before the draft started. All his family's in there. Dabo's there. I look over and Darius Rucker's standing there. I was like, oh, what's up, man? Like, that's
what's up, Hootie?
Yeah, I was like, oh,
that's insane. That's so cool.
So, all right, you're going through this quick. It's pretty amazing. So I want to give like each part of it. It's
you can stop me whenever.
All right. So you get clearance from the NFL, from Trevor's people, obviously, which is probably part of it, right? Like to allow you that kind of access into the home with the family and everything.
They were great. His team is really, they're like top-notch people, like for us to deal with. They understand how big of a moment that is for, their client, but they also understand how big of a moment for the city. And I mean, he has his sponsors and all that. So now that they're like, you see now it's all about content. It's all about things to be able to be used, social, digital, like anything like that. So they definitely saw the good in this.
Yeah, they saw the value in it.
Yeah, the value is big. So,
so you get that access, and then you aren't told prior to going up there that the Jags are definitely taking him, correct?
No, yeah, correct. Like nobody they didn't call me and they're like, we're taking him 3 minutes into the thing.
But so when you left here with the understanding that you had the clearance from the NFL, from Trevor's people, and from the Jaguars to fly home with him
if they chose
he be the pick, right? Yeah, okay, so that was kind of the communication before you left. Yeah. So as you're driving up to Clemson, South Carolina, to do this for the first time ever with one of, arguably the what's many have considered a generational QB prospect, right? Yeah. Like a guy who's been getting crazy media coverage since he was in high school. And you're the photographer on your way to Clemson, South Carolina. Take the Jaguars out of it for a second. You're the photographer living your dream already, doing what you do, driving up to Clemson, South Carolina to document this, to be in the home with this guy who's like, I know you're around all these guys all the time now, but like to be in his home on such a special day. Then you add in the fact that your favorite team on the planet I know you're impartial when you have to be now, but like, what's going through your head? Just don't go any further than like just the drive up there. That's what I want to know. Like on the drive up there, what is going through your head? Because that's a long, lonely ass drive.
Yeah, it's like I think it was. I mean, you've done the
Yeah.
Atlanta drive 100 different times. Like that's not a problem. But I went from mute like some hip hop, like trying to get pumped up, a little bit of like 1010, and then when Martineau came on, I was like going back and forth through all these different things, like listening to them talk about draft, listening to music. Like I remember I talked to Ben. Ben calls me because he's at the draft. They're setting up for the night. Like they have their stuff to do, and he calls me and he's like, "You good?" Like he always calls and he's like, "You good? You ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I'm driving unless somehow I crash and die or something like that. We're good to go. Like I had texted the PR person like, "Hey," or his PR like, "Hey, what's a good time to get there?" And she was like, "Just come at this time. He's probably going to sit down at this time." So they were great. They were awesome. But yeah, I actually was nervous for the first time in a long time doing photography. Like at Super Bowls, I don't get as nervous anymore because it's riding a bicycle. Like we work as a team. You have your section. You know your editors are the best of the best, so they're going to take care of the images. We're there a couple days in advance. We're testing our lines, or we know our cameras are going to work. We have backups of everything. We have runners, so that's like just shoot the game. It's just another game. This was like I'm the only person there. It's historic because this guy is said to be John Elway. He's said to be Andrew Luck. I'm the only person shooting still images. It's my favorite team of all time because I have it tattooed on my body. Like I was 7 when we got the team. I every emotion was just kind of like running, like don't mess up. Oh my God, we're getting a quarterback. Please God, draft whatever his name is at the Jets. Like I was like, I've covered Trevor Lawrence. I covered both of his losses. I covered him in the LSU national championship and then Ohio State this year. The kid, it's watching him play football that close and being able to see, like, I think I tweeted Denny. I was like, the ball, when it comes out of his hand, like I've never covered a quarterback that the ball actually moves like that. Like it's just unreal. Like where I'm shooting him and I have to be on my game because at any point the ball is going to be gone. Like it's so his release, everything is just so quick. So that's all in my head running like, oh my God, this guy's really coming. And then the other part of me is like, okay, well, if they don't draft him, how do I get home? Like I got to get another rent car. Like what's going to happen? Like I was like, do I just say, screw it, go to Atlanta for the next day?
Just drive into the ocean, dude.
Like, I was like, if that happens, I'm just driving home. Like I'm going to spend 7 hours in the car just thinking about like, damn, what did we just do? Like we didn't
like death metal or something.
Yeah. And I've made some pretty like long, lonely drives doing this because especially with the pandemic. I mean, I drove to New Orleans like 4 times this year, and it's not bad, but that's long.
The panhandle goes on for fucking ever.
Florida is it's the worst drive through Florida. Once you're out of Florida, you're good. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Facts, dude.
You're pretty much there.
Once you get to Mobile, your money. Honestly, once you get to Pensacola, you're like, all right, like they're the Blue Angels. Like I'm about to start seeing some shit.
Exactly.
Like,
gosh, going up to Tuscaloosa was even like where there's not like a straight like real highway up. Like I had to go through the back, like the backwoods. Like I was like,
yeah, you cut up through Troy.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was nuts.
All right, so I'm gonna make sure that we got this whole thing here. The deal was only if the Jags take him, you were hopping on a plane.
Yeah, like nobody's gonna come get me if they don't like. Con's not like, let's go get Logan. Like who's that?
No, I know, but like if say for some reason they would have passed and the Jets took him, you weren't getting on the plane with him to New York City or to New Jersey.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So
Zach Wilson had to ride the subway in.
No, he was not Subway, man, Chipotle.
That's a good question though. Like I'm pretty sure I wasn't. Like if Ben called me, was like, maybe jump on. Like I'll call PR now and see if we can do that because the Jets probably wouldn't do that, but like they have a great photo. They have one of the teams as a team photographer that's like my age, Dan, and he's awesome. So I don't think he would take care of it all.
Somebody up there knew who was going number one and where they were.
I mean,
No,
everybody.
he was
gonna say at the end of
you
the day,
didn't know, but
I remember Dan
right, so-
with the Jets was texting me like I hate you, and I was like, I'm sorry, dog. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, buddy.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I got something for you, Jets. All right, so you're cruising up, you're getting there. How weird was it pulling up to the house where they were? And like, what do you do? Like, just start unloading your gear and be like, "Hey, I'm Logan." Like, knock on the door.
I got there like 5 or something like that, or 5:30, and it's really in the middle of nowhere. Like, I've been to Clemson once. I covered Watson and Lamar Jackson when they played each other that year. So I've been there before, but it was kind of like late evening and then it was dark. So I didn't recognize anything. So I'm like, I'll just drive by the house and figure out where it's at. So it's like all these different hills and stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like kind of a couple houses, and I start seeing cars and people like in Clemson jerseys. I was like, whoa, they're having like a rager. So I kind of drive by and I'm like, okay, that's the house. So then I go to the hotel, like check my cameras. We use these wireless packs now to send out images, trying to make sure everything's ready to go. Cause as soon as I shoot it, we're trying to get things out like as quick as possible. So that's when I was texting the PR girl and I was like, all right, I'll just go over there now. I'll go a little early. I roll up and I park like right outside the house, and there's just like people like, not giant, but there's like people eating, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is Trevor's house. Like, it has a Clemson like flag and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, this is it. So I call the PR girl and she's walking out and she grabs me and I walk in, and we go into the room where you see everything, and ESPN set up. So I get all my stuff ready and he's not in there yet. And I'm like, okay, there's like his mom and dad are in there. So he comes walking in his suit and he just sits down, and I'm just standing there like 10 feet from him. He's just on his phone. And in that moment, you kind of want to say hello. So you're like, hey, I'm a guy pointing a camera at you. Like,
that's what I was going to ask you. Like, so what do you do in that moment? Like, do you go introduce yourself to everybody in the place?
Sometimes you do. Like, if it comes up, you'd like to, like before a portrait, I do, but I'm not there to like talk to them. I'm not there to be their friend. I'm there to do my job. But I'm not part of the story. I'm behind it. So like, I see him sitting there and I'm like, I want to say hi. And I'm like, just to be like, hey man. So I didn't say anything. And I just kind of sat over there. I walked outside a couple times, and then everybody started filling in. They were sitting down, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to shoot. ESPN's moving their stuff around. I mean, it's like 5 minutes for 8:00 and they're just like, everybody's going crazy. And I'm like, oh God. I was like, get the camera set. Like, let's go. Like, they're going to call.
Let's go, Marty Smith.
My fucking shot.
Together here, Marty.
Like the times, like, I'm like, it's 8:15 because he didn't get drafted until like 8:20 or something, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw on the TV if everybody was watching, they had like a fucking Nickelback concert or something first.
Okay. No, like they had the TV going and the sound, but the cameras are kind of blocking it. They're not really like, he's talking to his wife and his mom, and some friends are in there. So he was like super like mellow the entire time. The kid is like the mellowest kid. Like he loves his wife. He loves his family. You could tell that he's very like family and friend oriented. And and then all of a sudden it clicked on. I was like, he said the draft's going. And at that point I'm like locked and like, I'm ready to go. Like, if I want to get a photo of him when the phone rings, he has his Bose earphones in. So his phone's kind of sitting there. I'm like, okay, don't look around. Like Dabo's over here, like taking selfies, like in the background and like videoing, and I'm trying not to look at that. So you want to take a picture of that, but it's like I want that picture. So thankfully I was paying attention, and the phone rings, he's talking, and like, mom, everybody's excited, and then they all hug and all that happens. But that was like, I like black out in that moment because you're just focused on work. You're focused on shooting it. Is it in focus? Because again, this is it. Like, you don't get a second chance. It's like a wedding, like the kiss, everything. It's like, this is the only, like, don't slip, don't knock over the light. Like, I was in a position where the camera was to my left because he was sitting on the couch. There was a light behind me, and Marty Smith's on my shoulder. like just like chilling. And I'm like, oh God, like I can't like move. Don't drop the camera. Don't knock this light over, because if a light comes crashing in the middle of a live shot, I'm fired. Like I'm done. So like you have all these things like in your head, and then it happens, and I'm looking, I'm like, all right, sharp, send, like trying to send. Of course, everything goes down. Our packs go down. There's no Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi in the house goes down. Phone doesn't work. Hotspot doesn't work. Then this is when you're like, you have to like, it just clicks on where you try not to panic, run out of the room, or I shoot some more stuff, run out of the room, like get service, send a couple images, run back in. And that's when he had the jersey and he was doing all the other stuff. It was kind of a hectic, like 10 minutes.
I'm sure it probably felt like it was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
and like the photo of him that everybody's seen of him holding the jersey, that was later. That was probably like 30, 40 minutes after he got, I asked PR, I was like, hey, can we get him just to pose with it so the league could have a jersey image, a hat image? Just because like you would do that at a draft, like they come out, commissioner, you take the photo first, because we always have a person in the front of the stage take a picture, and then Ben's on the stage, so he'll flip them around and get that shot of him holding. So we have different angles, and like this year they had somebody on the stage over here shooting. So it's always like the more and more you can get is what we like try to look for.
For sure. So you have like, and I know it's a really intimate moment, and you're a professional, so I'm not going to ask you to like give every single detail of what it was, but like within, was there a lot of surprise? Like, I mean, I don't think he was that surprised when Urban Meyer and Shad Khan called.
No, but
or just like relief.
Yeah, I think it was more relief. Like, I don't know if you can capture that on camera, but he was genuinely happy. Like the things I've seen from the short time I was with them, they were genuinely happy to. I mean, it's your, like the parents, it's your kid. He's the number one pick. He's going to play NFL. They were happy to be drafted. Like he was happy to be a Jaguar. Like there wasn't a moment where I thought he was like, oh damn it. Like it was.
Well, that's good.
Like, yeah. So yeah, I mean he was smiling. He was high fiving. I got a photo of him when he hugged grandma. Like it was a good moment. It was good. Everybody's, I don't know if you could see the entire family, but they were off camp. Like if you're looking at him, they're on his left. Like there was a bunch of them, like 30 people like there, and they were going crazy. Hootie's going crazy. Like, like it was good. I don't know if Hootie was going crazy, but he was over there.
Oh my goodness. So you get a bunch of photos. When do they watch the rest of the draft? Are you there kind of still hanging out just in case? Like what happens next?
Well, he does. I think as everybody's seen already, he does media availability. So he was talking to Shipley and all those guys. He did a sit down interview with ESPN. Like, and it was cool to see. I talked about this earlier today with somebody. It's cool to see them flip flop from, oh my God, I got drafted. Like I'm here celebrating with my friends and family, to I got to do an interview with ESPN, and I got to switch from I'm a kid that just got drafted to now I'm an adult who has a job to do. And he was able to just, you could tell it was business when it needs to be business.
Yeah, he's been doing it since fourth grade.
Yeah, like he is ready to go. So that was a cool thing to see, because like you'd see him and his wife were hugging and they're talking and he's texting, and then you go over here and he has to do this interview and he's laughing, but then it's like, are you ready to go kind of thing? And he's like, yeah, like it's like, I'm not coming in here to just, I got drafted number one. I'm coming in here to win kind of deal.
Yeah.
And you saw that up close, and it's like, oh, okay, like, let's go.
Right.
Like,
at what time did you, like when the family's sitting there and like, things have kind of died down?
Duval, like super loud?
No, it's close to, my question is close to that. At what time did you roll up your sleeve and show them your Jaguars tattoo?
God, I would sometimes you wish you could just like, I could, not do that stuff, but like just tell like people like Jacksonville's awesome. Like I wish you knew how good this city is, and just not listen to the people like the dude in Chicago who's like never been here, who came in 05 Super Bowl and like stay the comfort in. Like there's so much good here. And that's the stuff that I want to talk to them about. But it's like, even on the plane, you're not there to be like, to talk to them. You're there just to do.
You're a fly on the wall doing a job for sure.
Like, I get a lot of people to ask me like, can you like, where you get an autograph or a photo? Like, no, like, that's not what you do. You can't do that. I have to remove my fanhood. Like, I turn it off because I have a multi-billion-dollar company that needs images. And if I'm asking for a selfie or like texting my friends, like, holy crap, like Trevor's right here, like, I'm going to not be there anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's the price you got to pay for sure.
Which sucks because like last year I sat in front of a TV and watched it and like FaceTime like my friends and drank beers, and I was like, oh, we got CJ. Like I missed that from time to time. And then this year it's like, okay, I don't miss that. Like, I'm in the room with hopefully the quarterback for the Jaguars for the next 17 years or whatever long.
Yeah. Well, and what's really hilarious about this, I don't even know if I told Sally and Dilla this, but like when I kind of decided, I don't know, it wasn't that far out from the draft that I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to have some people over, not going to go to the stadium, just going to, do close friends. Yeah, I know. But I said close friends and family, and I texted Logan and then I found out this motherfucker's up there.
Sorry, Cap.
Texted him, was like, yo.
That's the problem is like, I would see people were like, oh, maybe the Jets already sitting there. And I'm like, it's so hard not to like, be like, nah, it's not there, because you want to be like, oh, I know, like, that's cool that I know. But I couldn't even text. Like, I didn't even tell, like, my mother knew, because it's like, if something happens, I want you to know. And then my boss and stuff like that knew, like, you got to keep, like, there's other stuff that was talked about that it's like, you can't talk about that. Like, they put their trust in you, and you have to just, follow the rules.
Fully.
I feel you.
Favorite shot that you got of everything that happened right kind of there on draft night? Like anything stand out?
Not really. I mean, the one of him smiling, and like, there's a photo, I don't know if I've shared it, but like Marissa's like looking at him smiling, and he's smiling, and like he's holding the phone, and it's like genuinely like, I remember hearing him talking, and I can match it with the audio from the video. And like, that's the moment I'm like, they were very excited. Like, it was like, oh my God, like, I'm getting drafted. That was pretty cool. And then probably just him holding the jersey was cool, because that's when he came. Like, I asked PR, I was like, hey, can we do this? And I was like, I can wait as long as you need me to wait. Like, I know there's other things that are kind of more important to do. So he finally comes over, like, he's done. And I'm like, I'll be real quick. Like, we'll take a couple, like 5 photos, and then he like go party. Cause I mean, you want to go let the kid go do his thing. And he comes up to me, he's like, hey man, I was like, sorry, I didn't get to meet you. Like, I'm Trevor. And I was like, oh, no worries. I was like, I'm Logan. I'm actually from Jacksonville, so I'll probably be seeing you more and more now. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. And he's like, what do you want me to do? So I was like, can you just stand right here, hold the jersey? We'll take a couple, just big smile, and then I'll do the hat. And he's like, good. He's like, cool. And he's like, boom, doing it. He's like, I'm like, you're good. Puts it down, hat on, doing it. And I was like, thanks, man. He's like, no worries. He's like, you good? Everything? You need anything else? And like, that's cool.
You're like a hug.
Yeah. Like, first, for him to ask if I'm good, or even come up to me and be like, hey man, sorry I didn't get to meet you, like, at your biggest moment, showed me he's kind of has some, like, he's like a genuine person.
Yeah,
I've dealt with players.
He's cool.
Yeah, there's so many players that are not like that it's like, oh, I don't want to work with you. Like,
yeah, I feel it. Hey, did you happen to be around him when we drafted Travis Etienne?
No, I got that. People ask me a lot. No, I was gone by that point. I was back at the hotel probably like 8 picks before that. Yeah, I didn't stay. I didn't even like, that wasn't something that crossed my mind was, hey, maybe I should stay for that. Because I was so focused on, I got out the images what they needed and what our clients and everybody else needed, that I was like, I need to go and actually sit down and look at what I shot and send more, because our editors are working. Alex is calling me. I'm in a Slack channel. They're making a gallery. There's a header on NFL.com that needs to be cut out. Social needs it. There's like 10 social accounts now for the NFL. The team needs it. Like I have Jag Social. I'm making sure PR is getting it. So I was more focused on that aspect, and I didn't even it didn't cross my mind. Like I watched the draft. I watched the ETN pick in my hotel room. I was like, oh, we're picking now. So
That's kind of like how we were in the backyard too, man. But we weren't like doing really important work shit and stuff.
I saw the cookies and champagne thing. That was pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. You missed out on that, bro. Don't you wish? Like, I mean, you could have been having champagne and cookies in my backyard, or
I thought about. I actually thought
the
about that
pick.
the night before, and I wanted to like bring it, and then I was like, no, I'm not jinxing it.
I'm not
jinxing anything.
Yeah, you know the move. You know the move. So, all right, you just kind of continue with the theme of like walking through it little by little here. You get all the shots you need. You thank his PR and his team or whatever, and you kind of go to peace out. At what point then do you know, all right, I'm meeting back up with them at X time to get on a plane tomorrow? Like, how did that all play out?
So I knew I had a schedule of when, if he got drafted, we would leave. And I had set every alarm on my phone. I had called my mom and been like, hey, this is where I'm staying. This is my hotel room. Like, she's a nurse, so she gets up super early. And I'm like, if you call me in the morning when you leave, and I don't pick up, if my phone dies, call the hotel and tell them bang on my door. Like, I have to be at that airport, because it's like, if I miss the flight, like, they're not going to wait for me. Like, and that's like, nobody really cares anymore about the draft. Like, they want the plane stuff. And I'm like, I have to make it to that plane. I woke up like 2 hours early. I got there an hour early. I sat in like the lobby. Like, I was ready to go. Like, I was like, nobody's done this before. Like, I don't even think in the history of the Jaguars they've ever allowed it. So that was something that I was like, I have to be there on time. I have to be there. Like, cameras need to be ready. Let's do this.
So how early are we talking? How early were you there?
I think I was there at like 8, and I think we didn't leave for like an hour and a half or something like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not leaving. So
they come rolling up, Trevor and Marissa, and like, I guess his agent and whoever else. Like,
yeah. The other thing too is like, I get to the airport and I'm talking, it's little, and I walk in and there's a guy at a desk, like, and like there's places to sit, and I'm like, hey man, like I'm returning my rental car, because you can return there, and I'm like, I don't know my flight number. I don't know my flight number. I don't know, like, and he's like, well, where is it coming from? And in my head, I'm like, do I tell him? Is he gonna call his friends and people are gonna be standing at the gate? Because I mean, it's little, like, it's the only airport there. And he's like, I'm like, oh, Jacksonville. He's like, oh yeah, it's in the air. I'll be here in like 30 minutes. I was like, okay, cool. So I just like got myself sat down, didn't say anything. No NFL stuff on, no Jaguar stuff on. I think he kind of got that was where the plane was, like, that's what was happening. But yeah, I just kind of like sat there, and then the Jags landed. I put my stuff on and got my cameras out, because you want that shot of him walking towards the plane, which at this point, I think everybody's kind of seen. It was just Marissa and him, agent, stuff like that. And they're just walking, and they're kind of like laughing, because, you know, people are kind of, why are you taking my picture? It's like, it always gets kind of awkward. And he just throws me like a little wave, and I was like, oh, cool. And then he just came up and he said hello, and everybody said hello, shook hands. And then I jumped up I went to go on the plane, because I was like, I want to get a shot of him going up, but this jet was a little tighter. So I just kind of like was like, let them go first. I'll shoot a side angle. Shot that. We all get on the plane, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm not getting left. Like, I tried to take some images before we left, and yeah, it was very nerve-wracking in the morning, because I was like, the rental car dies. Like, there's no Ubers in Clemson. Like, there's no Ubers to get there. I'm like, how long will it take me to walk? Like, I'm like,
I just got doom scenarios going through his head.
Like, I have my one camera bag. I have another bag. I have like a little like Nike SB bag with clothes. I'm trying to like pack real lights. I'm like, I'm getting on this plane. I need to be able to move. I got cameras going. It was a little, it definitely tested my abilities and what I've learned through the years. So yeah, that was pretty
rad.
cool.
That's rad. So you're on the plane and everybody's like, I mean, is that when you busted out the champagne and cookies and just kind of passed them out to everybody, or
No, I think everybody.
what do you do on a PJ? All right, what people really want to know, bro. What do you do when you're on a private jet with fucking Trevor Lawrence? That's what people want to know.
PJ
Honestly,
Logan.
It's really like, it's nothing crazy. Like everybody's just sitting, like they're talking, they're discussing what he has to do when he gets there. Yeah, he's just kind of hanging out. He's like, talking to his wife. They had breakfast and stuff like that, and they're just asking just questions about the city and like that kind of stuff. And they were excited. They were excited. I mean, the kid's living his dream. He's going down, and there was no partying. Just jump on the plane. Let's go. That's really what it was.
And how many people were there for the Jags, like to pick them up?
Two people, and then the pilots, who shout out to the pilots for Shad's planes. They're awesome humans. They're literally, those guys are like the coolest dudes. I asked so many questions about everything, and like I was like this plane, like I was like, how old's the plane? Like it was in my head, I'm like I don't want to go down, dog. Like I've never been on a little teeny plane like this. Like, we're flying commercial.
It's a billionaire's plane.
Yeah,
it's the safest plane you can get on.
Like I've gotten this far. Like I'm like, oh God. Like texting mom, like, love you. Like, oh, here we go.
I mean, dude,
Yeah,
you fly like freaking JetBlue, American, and Delta all the time. You realize those are a lot more.
Yeah, I was just had this voice in my head. I don't know what it was. I was like, I'm gonna be on the Florida Times Union front page. Like,
oh, that would have been, yeah. God,
Cap's making a t-shirt for me.
Yeah, RIP. I would have, that. In a second. All right, so you're on the plane and you touch down. I have a question, but it's not necessarily a question for you. It's more of a comment on kind of more Jaguar related stuff. So this is my commentary, not Logan Bowles. Just want to be clear here. I noticed in your photographs, because you're a good pal and I'm a big fan of your work, looked at all the ones that have been out there thus far. Why do we still have a Stand United shield logo carpet?
Yeah,
you got the king. Hold on. I got to say this. You got the king, the newly minted king, right? The old king died. You're coronating the new king. We never had a king. This is the first king. What am I talking about? You got the first king. And it would be like throwing out the 12-year-old red carpet. No, you get some fucking new red carpet, right?
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, oh man, like, where's the new one? I was like, at least like the logo, like the head's the correct one. But yeah, I felt the same vibe of the Stand United. I had some people comment like on Instagram, and I had a couple of messages. People were like, why is it Stand United? I was like, that's not me. I have no idea who's in control of that. But
like Dante Fowler stood on the same rug. That doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Hey, when I tweeted out the picture of Urban landing, that was what people were saying too. And it was funny. I got the one of Trevor Lawrence landing this time, but I was told I wasn't allowed to send it out. And Ben Becker from the news was like, bro, could you send it to me? And I was like, no, I can't. They told me no. He's like, come on, I won't say who did it. And I was like, bro, it's like, what?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean,
Logan's there and he has a better camera anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dilla texted me. He's like, when are you guys coming back? And I was like, I couldn't.
Hey, that's not. Yeah, no, I figured you wouldn't answer, but I was trying to gauge when I was going to get my picture.
It was also like, I just put my phone away. Like, really, I was like, I can't text. Like, if I'm texting, I'm gonna.
Time out. My man Dilla was trying to work the source.
Hey, I try everything, dude.
Still a fucking Schefter over here. Jesus Christ.
Something else, and he of course he was asking sources. I'm like, I can't tell you what time they're coming back. I'm not getting.
Hey, no hard feelings either. I'm gonna get the question in there, and if you want to spill, you spill. No biggie.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, Cap.
I mean, I guess
We
I'm just
actually
a
did.
little.
We
I'm a
did
little.
change airports because of the weather, so I wouldn't have been like that big of a deal. But
I'm just a little surprised that, that you're really working the phones that hard.
Dillard's working Logan.
I know I felt like Dillical. Like I was like, damn, I know everything now. I was like,
But you probably looked at that and Logan's like, all right, I got Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, fucking Dilla's texting me too. Jesus.
nah, I don't. I
Oh.
honestly, I've shot of most of those guys, and they don't know me. The only one, James Palmer. No, I know James Palmer. Like he's awesome. The rest of those guys, I have no idea.
All right,
Ian
so
Rappaport cut me off on the Jaguars call.
Adam Schefter's a nerd.
yeah, we knew that. So you guys land and like there's one car, one large like SUV waiting, couple
No,
like
there were separate cars. Yeah, he landed, and I told PR, I was like, hey, I want to get out. Like, if I could get out first, I want to get him coming off. So I got out first to get the shot of him actually stepping down, and that was pretty cool. And then from that point, he says hello to whoever's there. There's people on the tarmac. They're waving to him. He's waving, saying hello. Like, thanks guys for all the help. Like, thanks for getting the plane here. Like, very like thankful. Like, he was very thankful. We got in separate cars and headed to the stadium, and we were leading the pack kind of, and we let them go first because we knew the kids were going to be the third graders were going to be out there to welcome him. So it was kind of like presidential how we rolled up. Like, I'm in the back car with both cameras, and I'm like, I turn over to Alex Brooks, the PR, and I'm like, is he gonna Shad? He's like, yeah, I think Shad's here. So the car's like still kind of moving, and I'm like, boom, out the door, like straight like president style, run up, and that's when she got out first, and then he got out. So I got the shot of that. Made my way around. Didn't even realize there was like 100 other cameras, and I'm like probably blocking everybody's shot. Shot
Love
that
it.
a little bit.
I love it.
I got a cool moment of like, he said hello, but then he kind of looked up at like at the stadium, and he was like, whoa, like he smiled, and like I think Mia O'Brien sent me a message, and she was like, that was a cool, like he really genuinely was like, whoa, this stadium's epic kind of thing. And then he talked to Shad, and then when he saw the kids, that was pretty cool too. He was like, you can just see in the pictures, like face lit up. So I covered all that. He did a speech. He talked to them, took a picture out front. Yeah. And then I actually had to go back to the car and get my bags, but the car's locked. So I had to run and grab the guy that controlled the car is like, hey, can you unlock the car? Like, I'm like, I get to the gate and I can't get in the stadium. Like the gates close. And I'm like, oh, here we go. All my camera stuff. Trevor's like walking off, and I'm like, oh no, I'm missing stuff. Like, I got to go to the little like thing and be like, hey, can you guys let me in? Thankfully, somebody let me in, and then I just kind of continued on.
Nice.
I
So
think he did a stand up with Brent, so I got a couple photos of that, and it was just kind of document each thing that he does. Like, he's gonna do another, like, meet some sponsors. He's gonna go have lunch, that kind of stuff. So I didn't follow him up there. I kind of let him have his, like, Amy and all them were like, let's just let him, like, and I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I'll go edit. So I kind of edited, let them do their thing. And then we met back out when he did like the Duval and all that.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. He nailed it too. Shout out Savannah. Yeah. At the Jags, like they killed. She told him how to, like, she was like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is what it sounds. And he's like, got it. And then he, as you see the video, he kind of nailed it.
He's a natural.
That was a one take. That was not two. That was one.
He's a natural.
Yeah, he's I think it was Solly who said it's just he's so perfect and it's all so natural. Like, none of it seems forced or fake, that like you think he's a cyborg.
And like from on the plane, I think most people have seen the photo of him because we flew over the stadium. And in the picture, how the plane is, like, I couldn't actually take a picture of the stadium and him, which is like what we ideally wanted, but it's just it was kind of it was like this misty, and it was like the angle is weird and all the camera, like, you can talk about all that, but I shot the picture, and she's filming. You can kind of see the stadium, like his name's on the scoreboard, like all this stuff. And he looked at her, smiled, and he was like, "Whoa, like this is awesome." Like his agent, they were all fired up. And then shot those pictures, and I kind of explained, I was like, so that's the South Bank, that's Riverside, like the state, like
This is where Chase is going to live.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I kind of explained like what parts of the city where I was like, then you got the beach. I was like, then you got Fernandina, St. Augustine. And he seemed like he was so interested in to hear that. Like,
So that's cool. So you interacted with him a little bit about that. Like,
yeah, it's like, I saw somebody ask the question, like, did you tell him where to go eat? And I was like, it just doesn't come up. You kind of want to say a couple things, and then you kind of want him to like have the moment.
yeah,
So
that's cool. That's cool.
The
Yeah,
shot that you got of her filming the stadium was really fucking dope.
I had my camera, like I was using Canon R5, so they're quiet. Like there's no shot, you don't hear it. I had the camera like on her shoulder, like wide angle, and like I'm looking through the back screen, and I'm just like kind of clicking, moving it, clicking, and I saw her phone, and I just kind of moved it a little bit and took a couple shots and just didn't even check it. I was like, oh, if it works out, it works out. And that was the one photo that I posted where you can see the stadium, because I would have to be in her spot. And at that point, it's like, I'm not going to ask them to move. Like, this
Can I sit in here lap, Marissa? I know we just met.
Like, this is your moment. So I just kind of got what I could get.
Why doesn't Shad have like an all glass PJ? Then it would work.
Apparently he's got a couple of them. So I don't know.
Conair 1, Conair 2. All right. Well, I know we got some questions too from the listeners. I'm sure we touched on a lot of this stuff, but before we get to that, I know from my angle, I don't know if the other boys here have some more questions, but for me, I guess just putting a bow on it, it was a whirlwind for you. You've described that, right? Like it was on the way there, it's stress because you got to get there. Yeah. And find the place and make sure it's there, and then make sure you get set up. And then it's just stressful to get the shots through those moments because you can't miss. Like you've said that. Then it's even the night before and the morning of the plane, it's stressful because you're like, I can't miss this shit. Like that's terrible. So I mean, I know me when I'm in moments like that, and obviously not moments exactly like that, but just high stress moments where there's a lot going on, there's a lot riding on it. I don't have the opportunity really till a little while after, like when it's all done, to sit and reflect on like, holy shit, that just happened. So like, when did that happen for you, or has it yet, or did it?
It happened. I think it happened when I went back to the hotel and was like I was stressed about getting to the airport and stuff, but I was like, oh man, I was like, we have a quarterback. Like we have a real, like on paper, everything, this guy is going to be good. And I was like, whoa, like this actually happened. And then sitting on the jet too, like after we took off, I kind of just sat there because we went over Clemson Stadium, and I was just like looking out. I was talking to Alex and stuff like that. And I look over and he's just chilling, like drinking coffee, and like they're talking about stuff and talking to Alex. And I'm like, holy, like, whoa, like I'm really on a plane with the number one pick, probably going to be the best quarterback of all time for the Jaguars. And I'm just chilling, like doing my job, getting paid to be here. That was in my head. Like I know how to I've always kind of known how to turn it off, but like in my head, I always have it kind of like going. Like I remember in the London game when I shot there for the Baltimore game, I was like, let's go. Like I'm always like, let's do this. So that was probably the moment where I was like, whoa, like flying over the stadium. That was pretty crazy.
That's fucking surreal, dude.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
In my head, I'm like, these guys don't know I have a tattoo with the Jaguars, like with the logo. Like, they're like, if they knew that, I'd be like, who the hell is this weird kid? Like, why'd they let him do it?
How'd he get past the security clearance? And you're like, well, I mean, that was Cletus. He was the baggage claim guy. He was, over there at the airport. He was car return.
It's also cool to know, like, I'm the one who took those pictures. Like I'm born and raised in the city. I grew up with the team. I've been to so many games. I've been with Cap to away games. I've like somebody who's part of this fan base, part of the city, took those images. And I think that's big. It's not an outside person. It's somebody who actually physically cares about that logo, the people that represent that logo, the city that represents the county, the region. Like, I actually care about all those things. And for me to be able to document that for those people, that's even more pressure, because I want to show where I live in my city at the highest it can be. Like, not just me personally, just being good at photography or trying to be good at photography. Like, I represent all of you as well. And I think that was probably more of the, like, oh my God, I need to get this correct. I need to do this right, because this is a one-time thing and I got to get it right, or like, fuck, like,
Yeah.
That's
like,
more.
people are
That's
going to
more,
see these images.
that's more kismet than any boat will ever fucking be.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just, you grow up, you go through all like the highs and lows of this team, and then to see that, it's like, maybe it's finally like, going up. It was cool. It was pretty cool.
Hell
I think the cool thing about what you just said is, like, no matter what ends up happening with Trevor Lawrence's career, it was a first. It was a first for anybody really in your profession. It was a first for you. It was, there was so many firsts, and it was such a cool experience. I'm sure it sounds amazing. So that no matter what happens with his career, I've got to imagine that's something that will be in the, the mental Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like anything I've shot of them, like the 2017 season, even though we lost, like, there's stuff I could tell my grandkids, like, hey, I was there when we beat the Bills. Like, that was a crazy moment, standing on the middle of the field taking a fisheye photo and being like, holy, like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah.
They're waving oh gosh. And then this, I mean, no matter what happens, like, I got to do that is going to be pretty cool to like look back and be like, I was there. I was one of, there were 6 people on that plane. Like,
yeah,
it's
well, and like, to take that one step further, which is where I think we all hope it goes, right? Many steps further. But if he is, or that sounds really like that pressure packed. Let me rephrase that. If he ends up having the type of career that we all hope that he does, and that in some ways some of us expect him to, that goes from not just a really cool personal moment, that goes from like that becomes supremely epic, right? Like that you were there that day. 15 years from now, if he's brought a Super Bowl to this city and he's the face of the franchise that we've never had, like, that's gonna be tough to beat, Bubba.
Yeah, it's like, I think of like how Michael Jordan, Walter Yost, who's a legendary sports photographer, he's the one that shot all the Michael Jordan stuff, like the logo that everybody sees, like all that kind of stuff. Michael Zagaris down with the 49ers, he's been there forever. It's like this, in back of my head, there's always like, maybe this is my Jordan, like Trevor, whoever, like, kind of thought it was going to be Jalen, and then Jalen did all that stuff. But like now, like that moment, that also crossed my mind. Like, this could be the next, don't want to say Brady, but I could document that. That's pretty cool to think about. Like, I saw my friends this year who work for the Bucks, like, enjoy and celebrate the win and get to shoot in the locker room or with the trophy. And I'm like, I hope I'm still doing this by the time that ever happens. And I hope that and pray that I'm actually there to document that, because it would come full circle.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. Ben and all the people I shoot with always make fun of me. They're like, would you be like crying? I was like, I honestly don't know. Like, I saw my friends like Brendan and stuff that worked for the NFL are huge Chiefs fans. And he was like, we're in the middle of the pack and like confetti's flying. He's working, but you could tell on his face, he was like, holy shit, this is happening.
Down. He's like,
and I like want that moment. Like, I want the moment of me like shooting and then looking up and seeing Cap like shirtless in the front row, like yelling at me. Like, I want that to happen.
I won't be shirtless in the front row. I'll be shirtless running at you. Like, it'll be you'll have like 500 frames of me coming like this, just like tears rolling down my eyes, like just coming for the hug. That's what I mean.
Like I had the opportunity to be in the locker room when New England won in Atlanta, and it's just like I don't care about that team, so there was no emotion attached to it. I was doing my job, taking the pictures I needed to take. It was cool to say I was in the room where Brady and Gronk won a Super Bowl. Like that's in photography and sports, that's legendary. But in the back of my head, I'm like I wanted to see Tad like moving the trophy around. Like that stuff would have been really cool to like document.
Yeah.
And be like, I took this picture, like Trevor just chilling, cigar, like you see the Burrow photo, like that would be dope.
Super.
That would be. Well,
and I want to just be able to say we were Super Bowl champions, so I can not listen to every single person that I work with talk trash. Like I'm in a group text with a bunch of the guys and girls and stuff like that, and I'm like, y'all get it out now. Like you can talk all y'all want, but just remember, if we ever win, you better change the number or put it on mute or do not disturb. Like
my man, like
my camera bag is just gonna have champions and it's just gonna say Duval underneath. Like that's all it's gonna say.
I love it. So, well, dude, thank you for sharing that. That's like I think when the boys put it in our group text, like, hey, Logan this week, should we try and get him? I was like,
yeah, when you guys said, I was like, somebody wants to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Fuck yeah.
I think what we just talked about, bro, is such a unique story, and I'm just grateful that we got to kind of bullshit and chat about it here.
I think people should be excited that we have a really good player playing quarterback, but I think them as like him and his wife are they're going to do a lot for the community and stuff like that. Like I'm trying not to be like biased about it. It's just like when you get that feeling about somebody when you meet them, like, oh, they're fake. Like the only feeling I have with this guy is like, he's going to be like legit. He's a good human.
He already gave $20,000 before he was.
Yeah. Like, and I saw he's doing something tomorrow with Adidas. Like,
yeah,
the guy literally, he was talking about, like, he's from a small town. Like we were talking about Jacksonville. We're like, yeah, it's a large city, but it's really a small town feel. Like we know everybody, or somebody knows somebody. I think they're excited for that. So like he fits here. Like I don't know why people thought in New York he's not gonna fit there. And it's not even me being like, oh, Jacksonville homer. Like he's going to fit here, and it's gonna be pretty epic to watch.
Hey, all that's left is just be good on the field.
Yeah, like just if we can just, God, please
win some fucking football games.
Solly, do we have any good questions that we didn't really kind of get to?
I picked 3 questions.
Okay, let's hit them with them.
All right. Question 1 is BCB couch. Once you fly private on air shod, how do you go back to flying commercial with the rest of us commoners?
I mean, having to carry camera gear to the airport kind of sucks. Thankfully, I have like a certain status with planes that I get on first. But still, it's like, plane lands, get on the plane, like you don't do anything. Like you put your bag on, like chilling.
You sit in a fucking seat just like everybody else.
No security, no just layovers. Nobody's going to be delayed. Like they could have been delayed, but it's I don't know. I could get used to that. I understand why people have private jets. Like it was pretty cool. Even it was cool that Shad paid for it. That was even better. Shout out Shad.
Question 2 is Jeff Leonard. What celebratory beer did you crack after one hell of a weekend?
Oh, so I've been doing this thing where I don't like really drink during the week, and I drink like on a Friday or like a Saturday. I'll have like some beers. So leading up to that, I hadn't had any kind of alcohol. And Friday when I was there all day till like 5 or 6 because ETN came, we shot ETN and all that kind of stuff. I got home and Southern Swell did a new beer, Half Truth, and I just downed that and then popped a couple other bottles and woke up next morning, kind of had a headache because now that we're older.
You're old now, bro.
They hurt a little bit more, but yeah, I watched everything about the draft. Kind of caught up with other stuff because I don't even know I didn't know Trey Lance went. Like was so disconnected to, because I'm a football fan too, so I like to know where people went, and I just sat there and I was like, oh, okay, Devontae Smith went here. Like I was like, okay, like finally got to sit and look at pictures, edit pictures, like respond to stuff, because I had other emails I had to deal with too. So it was that Southern Swells. It was good.
Gotcha.
It was good.
I knew you'd have a good answer for that. That's why I saved that one. Last one
I had a couple burial pilsners. I got 2 left. Shout
Which
out
ones?
my boy
Which
Cap.
ones?
What's the one like the gold leaf on it? The black can gold leaf.
Yeah, contrition, I think.
Contrition.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff's
Dude,
good.
I've got, I think, of like 30 pilsners that I brought back, I think I've got like 2 cans left.
They make great beer. Great beer.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
He gave me like his backwash of one of his burial beers on Thursday, and it was fucking delicious.
Dude, they make everything good. It's crazy.
You could have just walked out to the garage fridge and helped yourself.
I didn't know where he had his real stash at.
Solly, I got you. If I make an order, I'll give you a 4-pack.
Please, thank you.
Yeah,
love you. At phen214 says, would you rather have Tebow at tight end or Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence have to end every press conference or interview with "Let's go JJ's"?
Going JJ's, dog.
Logan pulled out the JJ's hat.
Here we go.
Logan's got the JJ's hat exclusive.
God, I heard when the dude said it. Shout out that kid though, man. Like, just to like do the pick with that guy's name on national television like that. I like when I heard him say it, I was like, oh damn, that's awkward. But I was like, you know what? Let the kid live on the television. Like he got it off. Like at this point, on
you, JJ's.
Yeah. Well, the soccer aspect, you know, like I felt like that was a soccer thing. I was like, okay, I'll let the UK kids have that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god. So
I got a question though. I didn't tweet it in because last time I did, I got made fun of. Hey, so how cool is Marty Smith? I think he's like a super dope ESPN guy, and you got to see him like work behind the scene. Did you get any vibes?
I was sitting. I don't know. All those guys just think I have a lot of problem with TV people, especially on the field.
The look on your face.
Like they'll just walk in, like they have a job to do, and I understand that. And TV kind of takes priority over images, but sometimes, like we had a problem with NFL Photo this year. Like somebody wouldn't move in the operational zone, and we couldn't like do our job. They would call security and tell us we were too close, and like we're not. We're like, you know. We're fully masked. Like I don't want to get sick. Yeah, they all have the same kind of vibe. Some of them are really cool. Some are just kind of, I don't know. And he kind of had that vibe too. I didn't talk to him. I told him I was right next to him, and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be right here, but I'll move because I know you're gonna do your live shot with him. And he's like, yeah, I gotta go right here. Like, and I was like, okay, yeah, I just kind of we talked about
They're like, bro, take your NASCAR ass back.
That's what I was gonna say. He went from NASCAR to college football, so I thought it'd be kind of humble and cool.
No, like he seems cool. Like when he was talking to everybody, he didn't. Those guys are. I feel like those guys are also under so much pressure, and they're reciting what they're talking about. So he probably just was like, you know, thinking what he's doing, and then you know, talking to me like, I don't need to talk to this kid or whatever.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a good dude. They're probably, you know, I've had a few just be dickheads, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't like you.
Okay. I could see that little diva mentality. Well, I think we'll close this a little bit with a little bit of JJ chat, because I just want to make sure that we're on record with this. Excuse me. Because there's a lot of people, including my pals, some of my good pals over in the UK, over in London town and the neighboring hamlets, as well as other
hamlets.
Did you buy the King of Whore?
as well as you know, our pals in Wales.
I saw you guys like battling with some UK fans.
No, they're I get it. Like, let's be real. The Jaguars UK is hella lame in a lot of ways. And my words, not Logan's. In a lot of ways. And for us, that sort of manifests in like a lot of hokey stuff to where we kind of roll our eyes and we're like, that's silly. And it's not that different for some of the really hardcore Jag fans over there who maybe have been fans for a long time or who are super engaged. And so I got it from that perspective because it's probably akin to like if one of our homies went on and did something silly, we'd be like, damn, that was hella embarrassing. Now everybody's going to think the Jaguar fans are tools, right? Like, so I get it from their perspective. And I had this conversation with a few of them. And it was like the first couple of times I watched that video, I cringed. And then it kind of turned into like, that's sort of funny too at the same time. But
I think like him getting interrupted too kind of made it even worse. Like he went to say, let's go. And then he kind of stopped. And I was like, oh man, if you just would have like let it rip, you would have just been confident about it. I would have been like, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to get all of y'all's take on this as well. But like for me, it is like the London stuff just bothers me in general. And there's nothing really that can happen or change that's going to change that perspective for me overall, really. Like I'm kind of just tired of having to deal with the London narrative and the conversation that surrounds it and all of that. So my initial reaction, anything like that ever happens is like, oh, fuck this, you know, and here we go again or something along those lines. But it was so easy to just flip this one and say, yep, ours now. Like, you know, that might have been embarrassing. And somebody could probably take that and run with it, like, and make fun of us. By us, I mean, not just the UK fans, but also just, you know, Jaguar people in general. And it was just hella easy to just kind of take and spin. And it felt sort of good to do that. So, you know, I encourage other people to just let some shit go.
Yeah. I don't really get the whole, like, I don't know. I have two sides because like the fan side, I was like, I don't want to lose any games here. Business side is like, I don't want to lose any games here. Like I like being home, sleeping in my own bed, shoot a Jaguar game, you know, like going over there was cool. But like I remember I spent a couple days of just like trying to find NFL fans for the league. And it was like, I couldn't find it. Like I spent 2 days looking for fans and like, I couldn't find it. I was like, they don't really care. I just don't get it. They don't care. They care about soccer or football. Like they're football. Like you see on a game day, there's just people in every jersey. Like there are some diehard Jaguar fans. I think that's epic that we have some people over there that are Jaguar fans. Like that's cool. Like involving people on Twitter that I see like talking to them. That's epic. I think that's cool to like that we have more people over there, but I don't know if it's ever going to work. Like I just don't see it. And that's coming from like the business aspect of like just photos. Like I just don't see it. I don't know.
I got some takes on this. So I was watching that Saturday at Phil's with like Nubs, the Wendells, Phil and Drapes when the JJ's thing happened, right? So I see the video on my phone. I played it. I just let it loop like 15 times in a row. I was staring at my phone like this. Like I couldn't believe how cringy it was. You know what I mean? And it was on full volume. Everybody is around me like looking at it and laughing too. Like we're just like, what the fuck is this? So like before I even thought about the fact that it was a dude that was in London, like didn't really care. I just thought it was cringy. Dude could have been in Indonesia. He could have been in my garage. Didn't matter. It was cringy, right? Before that even happened, I thought, okay, this is cringy in a way that I'm now laughing at it. When I played it on a loop more than 4 times, I was laughing at that point. So 2, I knew I was going to be tweeting this video a lot of times. Okay. So DJ Dell, shout out to the Bold Take Hall of Famer, put it in just a short little 4-second clip. And I knew that clip was going to be on my feed.
Is that the guy for Jaguars Today? DJ Dell. Who's the producer for Jaguars Today?
No, that's ET or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's all right. Dell's way cooler. I mean, I don't know ET, but I do know that Dell's way cooler because he's
cooler than 95% of the population.
Yeah, Dell's a really sick dude. I love that guy.
Nice.
So before I even considered any long-term ramifications, anybody being offended, anybody being embarrassed, like it was just cringy and funny. And then like it was just cringy and funny enough to where like it was going to be popular no matter what. So why not make it like a fun cringy that we laugh with and not at? So like
Always.
I didn't even have malicious intent with continuing to tweet out this video and talk about it and be happy about it. And before I knew it, like it was like, oh, this is embarrassing. Like I had people in my, British or UK Jags fans in my DMs, like, oh, this is embarrassing. I try so hard to not have this be the perception of our fan base. And it's like, I'm sorry that you feel like you're being misrepresented. For once in your life, but welcome to being a fucking actual Jaguar fan, dude. Like that's been our existence for the past
Like I take a lot of
fucking years.
I take a lot of
I don't
heat,
feel that
man.
fucking bad.
I take a lot of heat being a Jaguar fan, like in my industry and being at other games. Like it's that's like you saying, I'm like, if they ever win, it's over. Like y'all are done. Like get ready.
Like we haven't even stepped on the fucking football field with this new team that we've got put together, and we're already high stepping. Like,
yeah, the JJs have not stepped on the field yet. You're right. They have not. Yeah, you're 1,000% right in everything that you just said. I will add to it in the sense that once Tim released that shirt, it was like, whoa, that's a sick design too. So it just kind of became about that too. It's like, wow.
Tim just makes some cool shit.
Well, but we're laughing at it, and then we're like, that looks hella good on a t-shirt. Like it's here. Sorry, people.
And
like
not only that, like you can tell by Logan already having this hat. Like Tim's had that design in his back pocket for a long time. It wasn't like he just whipped this up because of this stupid little clip, dude. Like he had that design already ready to go.
Yeah, it's a classic.
People probably see that and they think, oh my God, they're leaning into it so hard. Tim's had that design forever, man.
Yeah.
It's not that deep, people. Laugh at fucking shit.
Well, and I guess my message to Stoff and all the UK cats that are upset about it is like, look at it this way, y'all. Like those of us that know you as UK fans, as fellow Jaguar fans that are, because that's what you are, right? But that are located in the UK. We already know there's a shit ton of embarrassing stuff when we don't attribute that to y'all directly, right? Like Logan hit the nail on the head when he said, when you go to the games, I've been to a game over there. It's hella embarrassing that that's a Jaguar home game. That has nothing to do with the couple thousand people who are there that are like super amped on the Jaguars. It doesn't reflect directly on them. They're more like, I'll speak right to you. You guys are more aligned with us, like the normal ass Jag fans, because that's what you are. So when stupid shit like this pops up, don't spend your time. Take it seriously. Like Sally, you're dead right. Like take it from us who are used to having to deal with this kind of stuff in our backyard, in our country, in our, in our state, in our region. Just let it roll off your back, y'all. Embrace it a little bit. There'll be another memeable fucking thing before you know it that somebody does something cringy and silly. And let's just lean into the shit a little bit. Let's go, JJs.
Let's own
this.
shit.
Solly ran through the dude's messages, like Twitter searched all of his tweets, and he's not even a Jag fan.
Well,
so he didn't have any tweets about the Jags, but he's not a heavy Twitter user. Like the dude, obviously we located the dude on Twitter.
Shout out to the dude, man.
He sent me a fucking image of him and his buddies. Like he's just a casual dude, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like
no, not at all.
Whatever. Like,
yeah.
He's been a fan since like he had a Instagram post of him from like 2014 or some shit.
So therein lies
hashtag.
Therein lies, and yes, you're 100% right. So for the people that don't know that, like we've found the do man, and yeah, he's not a hardcore tweeter. He's not a member of Jaguars Twitter or any of that. And I think that's where some of the frustration's coming from our pals over across the pond. And I think this is where Jaguars UK kind of really misses the mark. Yeah, year after year, they're having people announce these picks that aren't a member of that couple thousand really loyal fans. Right. And so I get that frustration for sure.
100%.
I get that. And I also get why they wanted to try, I guess the symbolism of having the do man do it is because he's like an essential worker, or right, like the equivalent of what we call essential workers here in the healthcare field or whatever. And so I get that. They're trying to, the cynic in me says the NFL does a lot of that shit for publicity and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But it's cool. Like, hey, just, let's let this one go. We're in the midst of a pandemic. The dude has been to a Jag game at Wembley. He might own an article of Jaguars clothing. Like, it's more than people haven't. It's more than some of these people they've chosen in the past. But Jaguars UK, get your shit together, man. Like, I know you do a lot when the games are over there. Hussein, the whole crew, you do a lot for those kind of diehard fans. But like, I think they want some recognition on some level that, you know, they're not just some fake number of quote unquote Union Jacks members or whatever, right? And I hear y'all, I hear you. But there's certain ways to do it. Don't take it on the do man. I told that to Stoff straight up. I said, look, don't take it out on this dude. Maybe this turns him into a diehard fan, right? Don't take it out on him. Take it out on the Jaguars UK people who you feel like are, you know, not including y'all. Take it out on them.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
you know, anyway, let's go, JJs. Let's go.
Here we go,
Take something that's cringy and awkward and turn it into something that's at least funny on some level. That's a win, man.
Well, and the hashtag, Dylan, I saw somebody tweet to you, the hashtag COYJJ, like, come on, you JJs.
Come on, you JJs. Yeah, dude.
So
Hey,
funny.
if you don't think that in the preseason game we're not practicing that out loud, you're out your mind.
You got your gourd. You out your gourd.
That'll be choreographed by noon day of through Twitter. So get ready.
I might get that logo on Logan's hat on my arm. Maybe, I don't even know. Maybe that'll be the Jag tattoo.
It's a great logo, man. I'm not gonna lie. I like all the old school stuff.
We're playing 4D chess with the shit this year, Dillard.
Yeah, we are.
I love it. Well, Logan, this isn't your first rodeo here. You know how we end the episode, so there's only one thing.
Appreciate it,
dude. Thank you. That was fucking epic, man. The stories.
I miss you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. I saw Cap a couple weeks ago. I feel like I think a couple weeks ago. But I saw you with the wife.
Yeah, I saw you up at Southern Swells. Yep, that was a month or two ago. It's been a minute, but yeah, glad you're doing well, buddy. Super amps.
Just trying to hold it down.
Well, you are, and you always do, which is the coolest thing, because I remember having conversations with you a long time ago when you were first going down this route, because you were such a rowdy, diehard, committed. I mean, you got the freaking tattoo. And I remember saying to you and like having a lot of different conversations about it. I didn't want to lose that part of you, like as my buddy. And I didn't want you to lose that part of you within yourself, because I knew how important it was. But I think like so far into this, it's been really, really cool to watch how you've held on to that more than I think most people would, but you still have been able to like achieve your goals thus far and, you know, do some badass shit. So,
I mean, I'm never gonna like, it's not, to me, it's never gonna change. Like I'm trying to just I'm like representing for you guys, representing for the city. Like I'm always going to be that way. I'm just so passionate about that. So I'm just going to try to continue to, like, I'm just taking pictures. It's not that big of a deal, but I want to do it to the best that I can. And I want to do it the highest level I can as I'm flying the flag. So,
Young Jeezy, I put on for my city. Oh, no.
Hey, when that comes on in the stadium, I'm shooting the game and like the defense.
Who doesn't get rowdy?
Getting rowdy, and I'm trying to focus on, okay, please be a sack, or please be it, like, let me get the shot and focus. Like, this is going to happen. This could happen. In the back of my head, I'm like fired up. Like I'm about to run on the field kind of stuff. So that's still there. I don't think it'll ever leave. I just know how to control it. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll speak for all of us, but definitely for myself. We're proud of you, dude. Keep up the amazing work and keep representing for all of us while you do it. And we'll have you on again sometime.
Whenever you want me to come on.
Especially if you keep doing epic shit, we'll have you on again sometime. But thank you for sharing the story. And I guess the only thing left to say, boys, is that I love you, JB.
Love you, JB.
Love you, JB.
Love you, JB.